My name is Gabriel Mwangi Nderitu, a clinical officer specialized in mental health and psychiatry. Other than that, I'm a diabetic patient, non-diabetic for the last 24 years. Welcome on board. I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was 6 years old, and the experience wasn't so easy. At 6 years old, I was a sweet tooth. And I remember the first explanation was, you will never have sodas in your life because they destroy your body. And all through my life, I had to deal with that. I remember I suffered with a lot of denial. A denial that even as a young boy, when you're given some money to go to school as transport fee, well, you prefer to walk a long distance. It is exercise at some point, not knowing that the money I'm saving was to buy a packet of biscuits and sweets, because now eating sugar became a crime. The self-stigma of being weak, not being able to go out in your university, nenda dunda. Then, I went to several of them, but the thought behind my mind, everyone is taking alcohol. If I take that alcohol, what repercussions are going to face me? Going into multiple DKAs, at some time I've slept in hospital multiple times. But in all these instances, including the day I go to hospital, nobody sat down with me and tried to understand the psychological impact that diabetes had on me. This is just but my story. I will introduce you to a friend of mine, someone who has walked in a similar journey, and let's see if this is only my experience or other people are also going through what you're going through. Yeah, so let's meet this guy. He's a friend. I've done 24 years. He done 12 years with diabetes. I liked his story. Let's know what it means to live with diabetes.
I am Edwin Masharia Kamunge, and I've been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes for the past 12 years. I suffered really a lot with was the denial. The denial that I was diabetic and I have to make significant life changes, because at that time I was around 11 years old. So for me, for an 11-year-old to grasp that you never have sugar again in your life or any form of fun was just too much for me. And so I decided to act as if I was just normal. Back at the clinic, there was no one also to talk about these issues with. It was just your diet, how well you take your medication, and your exercise. That was just it. When you have something as simple as a flu, it can cause significant changes in the sugar levels, and these significant changes results to stress, which further develop into depression. And at a depressed rate, being in a depressed rate, especially if you're diabetic for a very long period of time, results in two main problems. It can result in you having suicidal thoughts, or you can go to another extreme of being just reckless with your own life, because you die spiritually when being depressed. That is another aspect that no one ever discusses with you when you're going through this challenge of being diabetic. There wasn't a cause or just someone to talk to, or a counselor, or an extra form of treatment to help to go through that tough period of teenagehood. I would like that the government or even the private sector to make an overhaul on how we view mental health in diabetic patients. And also, there has to be a restructuring on how we educate and train the medical personnel on handling diabetic patients who have either mental anxiety or any other form of mental health. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me. Until next time.
Clearly, you can see diabetes is not just about glucose. It's not just about the mind, the body. It clearly shows that Diabetes also affects our psychological being. So let's not just do the pricking and the testing on the blood. When I come to your clinic as a nurse, when I come to your clinic as a doctor, get to ask how my day was, get to screen if I have depression, get to screen if I need a psychiatric help or a counseling help. Let's integrate mental health into diabetic management. Thank you.